This Christmas blizzard is not yet done as it remains a wintry storm over parts of the Midwest right now, and it is a cut-off low-pressure system, a low-pressure system that is free of the jet stream and its control. In this video, I'll detail how much snow parts of the Midwest could get, as well as how flurries could make their way on down further south due to cold air. We've also got a lot going on in the Northeast, and we're going to see a big pattern flip coming up that could bring a lot of snowstorms come 2024. Stick around for everything in this video. Let me know if you've gotten any snow so far this year in the comments, but let's go ahead and get right into this, looking at your water vapor satellite all the way from Christmas to this midweek time frame. And we've got this upper level piece of energy, meaning that it is not attached to a jet stream. It's brought heavy snowfall, blizzard conditions to parts of the Dakotas, parts of the northern and central plains, and it's still wrapping around over the Midwest. It also has tapped into the southern jet, by the way, bringing heavy precipitation to parts of the southeast, including the Carolinas, where some flooding has occurred. By the way, please hit subscribe for accurate, easy to understand, and passionate forecasting. Now let's get right into future radar timing. Alright, let's get right into this here with tracking precipitation and flooding. We've got an area that we're watching for flooding tonight into our Thursday, December 28th here, and we're also watching some of the snowfall over parts of the Midwest. Let's kind of zoom in on what's going on here in parts of Philadelphia and New York City through the night tonight. Some heavier rainfall. This could lead to that slight risk of flooding to come to fruition here over parts of Jersey, parts of eastern PA, as well as parts of, say, Long Island, New York, as well as southern New York in the New York City region. And we've got this heavy rainfall, and again, this is through the night tonight as I'm filming this, so not too long after this video is released, these downpours pushing on through. Into our early morning time frame of our Thursday, we'll see some of the, Atlantic flow kind of coming off the shores there, all associated with that upper level low pressure system that's well on off towards the west. This will drag some of that rainfall on up through Boston into the morning, as well as towards the midday time frame on our Thursday, as well as on up towards the main shore. So we'll have to monitor some of this activity, maybe for a low-end flood threat in southern New England as we make our way into our Thursday, but overall it's that flood threat in Jersey tonight that could dump a couple of inches of rain in a quick period of time. Now, tracking the snowfall potential, let's get into this with the HRRR model. You can see we've got some of the snowfall with that low-pressure system pretty much sitting over Missouri this evening. That's brought some snowfall here into parts of central and northern Missouri, southern Iowa. We've also got some snowfall a little bit further north into parts of southeastern South Dakota, as well as parts of central Minnesota. But overall, a lot of this isn't sticking just because of how temperatures are right now. While it's cold in the mid and even upper levels in the atmosphere, right now we're just seeing temperatures at the surface during these afternoon hours, especially 35 to 40 degrees, and that's just not, good enough for snowfall to be sticking on the ground. But this area I just circled, that's where we're going to see some north to south push from this as it gets drawn towards the low pressure system. This is actually going to create a kind of weird lake effect snow event. Look at how lake-induced snow gets going into our Thursday morning over parts of south central Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and it should be cold enough for at least some brief sticking of some of the snowfall on some grassy surfaces, especially there. But again, this isn't going to last very long, but it's kind of weird to see snow move east to west off the lakes. Normally it's almost always a west to east event, but notice how that kind of moves into parts of Iowa and some of the colder sector of that. Overall looking pretty much like rain as this pushes north to south into the afternoon on your Thursday. By the evening, though, we might see some more snow break out. And again, this is not going to be sticking. The only time you have the potential for snow to stick is really in the late night and early morning time frame, like what we saw in southern Wisconsin. But, some of this will fall heavy enough that we could get just a very quick inch on the ground. I just don't really foresee any major accumulations, even though this might come down pretty heavy. Nonetheless, some people might see their first flakes, especially as this falls southward, parts of central and northeastern Missouri getting in on another bout of snow as that area sinks southward into our, this is our Friday morning now. Also maybe some snow showers in parts of Kentucky mixing in with rain. But again, notice there are a lot of greens in this picture, and there's a lot of rain mixing in with the snow. Again, in parts of central Tennessee, places like Nashville, you might see snow break out as we head towards the end of the week into our Friday. And that would be really nice to see, for many communities. But it's just not looking like right now this is just going to be any sort of major accumulating event. Nonetheless, let's take a look at those temperatures to see if the snow will stick. Again, the snow that's falling as I'm filming this video is falling on temperatures anywhere from around 32 to 40 degrees. Again, at night, temperatures drop on down below freezing in some spots. Other spots don't even get there. But again, as we make our way into our afternoon or Thursday, remember the snowfall here over parts of Missouri and Illinois is going to be kind of trying to sink southward. This is in temperatures that are 35 to 40 degrees. Reading off some of these numbers, 35, 36, 37. That's just not supportive of snowfall, y'all, unfortunately. And as this kind of the cooler air sinks on off towards the southeast, we might see some snowfall. Again, really just being, helped by colder air in the upper levels. There's not enough cold air at the surface to create this snow sticking. As we make our way Friday afternoon, we might see some snow break out over eastern Kentucky, southern Ohio, as well as parts of the Mississippi Valley there in Missouri, western Tennessee as well. By the time we go Friday night going into our Saturday, we might see some brief light snowfall as far south as Huntsville, Alabama, maybe just north of Atlanta, Georgia. Also some snow breaking out in Appalachia. That might last through the day on our Saturday, but overall, many areas just not really picking up on much of anything, even in the rain department out of this, as it kind of continues swirling around. Just a cloudy time if you're north and west of Appalachia especially, and the mountains aren't blocking those clouds. Now anyway, assuming there's no melting, you would be getting maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow into some of these areas, especially coming off of Lake Michigan there and through southern Wisconsin and in parts of Missouri and Illinois. But remember, the snow is not going to be really sticking, and it's just going to be melting on contact, so we're really only looking at maybe a dusting to an inch, if you can even get that in most communities. Forecast temperatures anomalies as we make our way into this weekend. This is Saturday, December 30th. Warmer than average in the northern tier. Cooler than average air sinking under that low pressure system, especially into parts of Florida where we could be as much as 15 degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. And let's track out those temperatures using the GFS model. Look at how cold it is, say, on your Thursday morning here. Again, notice we've got especially some cooler air back on off towards the north and west of this low pressure system. Teens and 20s into parts of the northern plains as well as some of the Rockies. Look at this as we make our way into our Saturday morning this weekend. Cool in Appalachia. We've also got this cooler area where it's below freezing here over the north central. But overall, it's just kind of tame cold, so to speak. We've got those greens, those blues shades going all the way down to the Gulf Coast where temperatures drop into the 30s and 40s at night. But again, we're not really seeing any major cool down out of this. Temperatures, at night continue to be on the cooler side, especially over the northern plains. Temperatures dropping down, say, 5 to 15 degrees in some cases into our Sunday morning up there into our New Year's Eve, by the way. And then on New Year's Day in the afternoon, temperatures warming up quite nicely. And some models, including this GFS model, show some sort of warmth in the southeast developing ahead of a system. In fact, let's talk about what's next in the pattern. Here we go. This is your 6-hour precipitation zones, just really looking at the totals that are going to add up. But overall, I'm showing this to you to kind of show this system's moving out that we've been having, this upper level low finally departing pretty much 7 days after it formed here over parts of the plains. We'll have a little bit of precipitation into parts of the west over the next few days, and it has been quite atmospheric rivery over that region. But anyway, the GFS on models and ensembles, especially the GFS itself, shows some sort of little system bringing some, lighter rainfall over parts of the Carolinas, as well as southern Appalachia as we make our way into early week next week. But this signal is the one that we've been seeing for a little bit longer here, and it's for some sort of system to develop mid to late week. Overall, right now, this looks like it would be mainly a rain event as it makes its way on off towards the east. Grays are not snow on this map. This is just probability of precip, pretty much. The higher, the greener and the bluer this gets, the higher the precip chance. It looks like we'll have something moving through the southeast Wednesday to Thursday of next week. Overall, right now, not looking like any sort of major system, not looking like a winter storm necessarily, but this is pretty much El Nino induced, and look at how the models, including this GFS model ensemble, show more, moist air resulting in some precipitation as the lows continue to ride that southern jet. So if you go with the GFS ensembles, we could have 3 weaker systems, all within a, say, 5 to 7 day period next week. Now this is your snowfall zones using the European models and ensembles. Maybe a brief hit of some snow around the New Year's Eve time frame over parts of the Great Lakes, but notice all the way through parts of the midweek time frame next week we're pretty much snowless, and that includes through Appalachia, pretty much showing that the Euro just doesn't agree that a system will move through the Carolinas as early as Monday. But what we do see again is that mid to late week system, maybe some light snowfall hitting parts of Appalachia as we head towards Wednesday into Thursday. But no big snow events coming up in the next, say, 5 to 7 days. I mean, if we look at these climate prediction center outlooks here, this is the 8 to 14 day outlook. We're looking at cooler than average air over parts of the southern United States, also wetter than average for pretty much most of the country except in the Great Lakes, as well as interior New England. So this does kind of indicate the signal and the chance for at least a little bit more in the way of snowstorm chances further south, including maybe parts of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, some areas that haven't seen really any accumulation yet. But these, the stuff going on YouTube about major events coming up in the way of snowfall, I don't think anything like that is going to happen at least for the next, say, 7 days, maybe longer. So I'll keep you posted with accurate forecasts here that are easy to understand and passionate. Go ahead and please hit subscribe for those updates so that you can and turn on those notifications so that you get my forecast immediately as soon as it gets posted. But that's all I've got for this video. Should be back on Friday or so with our next weather forecast update. But for overall, we're beginning to quiet down on the pattern just a little bit temporarily. But of course, I'll be the first one to let you know when a major snowstorm is on the way.